Alright guys, 大家好. Welcome back to Canton Lounge, and in this video I want to talk a little bit about the whole concept of internalizing and thinking your way to fluency in Cantonese, as some, I think, polyglots like to refer to it as. So the whole idea, let's see what we have here. The question that we want to start out with by asking is, how do people actually become fluent in a language, right? Well, they can claim fluency in a language when they feel comfortable in it, but what does that mean? Well, I think that fluency means that you've pretty much thought about everything that you usually think about in a given setting, in a certain period of time, in that foreign language, and you were able to express yourself within that area. You've done so a couple of times, you're very familiar with it. Everyday situations, food, talking about life, hanging out with friends, and thinking about your profession in that language. And that's fluency, right? So the whole idea is to use the language all the time, and to the extent where it becomes inseparable with your life. So you want to go through a process of pretty much thinking in that language. And that's the whole idea behind, internalizing. Different words, same concept. So how do we do that? Pretty much, we want to do this via a real-time translation of our most common thoughts. So anything that we usually think about in our native language, we want to know how to say in the target language. Which is why it helps if you're immersed in the environment, because you're kind of forced to express these things in the target language, right? But even if you don't have that environment, you can do this on your own by keeping a journal, a diary, or just when you're in different places, think about, ask yourself, how would I say this in the target language, in this case Cantonese, and how would I translate it? And you come up with a translation, and you check it later on with native speakers or via a dictionary or something like that. Okay, so why do we internalize? A couple of reasons. Number one, you can use the words you've learned, right? Because knowing a word in terms of its meaning is different from being able to use that word in a sentence. Number two, practice constructs at the beginning stages until you're familiar with them, and then you can kind of say, okay, I'm at a very strong intermediate level now, or with varying degrees. And you want to keep Cantonese fresh in your mind. So you want to keep the target language, in this case Cantonese, and fresh in the sense that you don't want it to be squished into the dark recesses of your mind, because it's a language you're learning, hopefully for a period of time, and you want to keep all the words just alive in your head. And the way to do so is by repetition by way of thinking. So how do we internalize? Very simply, jot down what you want to say. Number two, if you want to, you can do it in your head, that's fine. It's just more difficult to do so in your head. Number two, do a pseudo translation. Reword the sentence so that it conforms to the rules of the syntax of the language, in this case Cantonese. Number three, translate what you know, all the words, translate them to Cantonese. And step number four, fill in the missing words by using a dictionary or using a translation site. A translation site by, something like Lingui that curates, bilingual translations, not machine translators. Those I don't recommend using. For now, maybe, in a couple of decades, they might be advanced enough to be able to fill in the gap. And number five, say the whole sentence out loud. That helps reinforce, and that helps give you a certain sense of confidence and certainty when you're actually using the sentence in real life. So that's it for this time. We're going to have a look at some examples next time in terms of how to do internalizing, or pretty much it's more like translation. All right, I'll see you guys next time then.